Squirrels. Today's guest on Blind Squirrel Talk, famous in a small town, is Alex Southerland. Alex lives in the historic district of Maysville, Georgia, with her husband and is eagerly awaiting the arrival of their son. Owner of Sanctuary Estates in Cleveland, Georgia, this beautiful mansion has hosted weddings, reunions, parties, and countless other events. Alex will share the challenges of making every event memorable from start to finish. We are so excited for you to meet Alex Southerland.
Also, don't forget to find us on Facebook and Instagram at Blind Squirrel Talk and on X at Blind Squirrel PC. If you enjoy the show, please remember to leave us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. Plus, if you write us a review there or leave us a comment on Spotify or YouTube, we'll read it out on a future episode of the show. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Blind Squirrel. I'm Kim.
I'm Lulu.
And this is Alex Southerland, mom-to-be, event planner, owner extraordinaire, and fortunately for us, a resident of Maysville, Georgia.
Yes, and we're so happy to have you here.
Thank
We're happy to have
you.
you here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited you're here because you haven't been feeling well, and we're warriors.
Yes, we are.
Ready to come back with someone else on the outside.
And we can't wait for that.
Another guest right here.
Yeah. How much longer do you have, or do you?
Technically, I could go any day.
Oh, well, good for you.
Yeah. So I'm doing everything I can to expedite the process. It is eviction time.
Well, we do hope that you'll last long enough to get this little episode in. Otherwise, but
That would be exciting.
I do need to tell you though that I actually delivered a baby right there where the drum kit is.
Oh
I actually
my
did.
gosh.
And see the sign that says Lulu's Labor Lounge? That's what they gave me after
my
I delivered the baby.
God.
So have no fear if you go into labor.
We're
we'll move the drum
prepared.
kit out of the way. We'll just have a baby.
I can't remember. There was a hurricane or something.
It was Hurricane Irma was coming through. All the lights went out, and we delivered the baby right there.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, feel at ease.
I could be ready.
We got this.
We got this, Kim. We got
I didn't have
this.
anything else scheduled after this, so it should be good.
Think of the money you would save in hospital costs.
My husband would be glad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
it
my
would.
gosh.
So tell us how you ended up in Maysville. How long have you been here?
Oh, we have been here almost 3 years. We are from the Ackworth, Kennesaw area, and moved away to Austin, Texas for a few years to for some business opportunities, and decided to come back in late 2020 after the COVID craziness to be around our family and start our family. And so we were trying to figure out what we wanted to do, and I had kind of started in the event business out in Austin, and my mom had been with a major resort here in Georgia for about 15 years at that point. And she had just recently bought a wedding venue, an event venue out in Marietta. And so we thought, why not add to our family business, and we'll run one up in North Georgia. And so looked all over and found just the most amazing property, and decided that would be the right reason to come home. And so in a crazy home search at that time is when you couldn't buy a house unless you were paying like all cash and $1 million over
Over the asking price,
willing to like rehab the whole thing. And so we kind of widened our search, and I found our little house here in Maysville and fell in love, and didn't know really anything about the town.
But you love that house.
But I loved the house. So we made the move, and yeah, I've been here ever since, and slowly started getting involved and learning about the city. And one of the best things has been honestly just our little surrounding neighbors and the people we've met. And there's a lot of people, we saw a lot of potential in the town, and there's a lot of people working to make that happen. So that's been very exciting.
That's very true.
Well, you've been gracious enough to help us with our social media and try to get our webpage sort of in the here and now instead of
We're
dark
getting there.
ages.
we're slowly, we've got an Instagram, so we're getting our little dot on the map.
I don't think we've ever had anything, have we? Or
We did have Facebook that I think maybe was posted on last in maybe 2012 or something. I mean, it was.
It wasn't really managed how a social media site should be. You know, it was.
So we thank you for all of your
no,
work. Like you really have time to do all that, but somehow she gets it done. I don't get it.
Oh, It's worth it. We love Maysville.
Oh, well, good. Well, tell us about the wedding venue.
Yeah, we have, it's about 33 acres up in Cleveland at the foothills of Yona Mountain. And we've got a bunch of different things on property. We've got 2 horses up there. We've got an estate house, a vineyard. We've got a lake and a pool and a reception barn and a little garden. And so weddings are our primary event that we host. But we do all sorts of things: birthday parties, corporate events, anniversaries, things like that. So it's been a big labor of love, but it's been really, really fun. And getting to be a part of like the best day of people's lives doesn't suck. So
Yeah.
we enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work, which I guess means you're doing it right.
Yeah.
So
So have you ever had repeat customers? You did our first wedding.
well, and for weddings, no.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Not yet, but we've only been there 4 years.
Oh, okay.
So,
They
you
haven't
know,
had
I
time
guess-
to get divorced.
Yeah,
Okay.
Maybe this upcoming spring season, we'll get some repeats. But no, I hope you're all doing well. But no, non-wedding, we've had like repeat companies and things come back for stuff. But yeah, I think we had talked about maybe doing like a second time around discount or something.
Nice. Yeah. Why not? Why not?
Come back and see us again in a few years when it doesn't work
You know,
out.
the 5 and 10 year anniversary. A lot of people do that.
Yeah. Oh, or like a
Renew their vows.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a little happier than
Second time around.
second time around.
Yeah, because
Yeah, I got married here last. Don't you love it?
With my So my ex-wife and I have this great place. You're gonna love it. That marriage won't. We'll see him a third time for sure.
You want to prepay for the third because it's coming.
Yeah. This is not your best strategy.
Well, tell us a little bit about why you came here. Was it because you were out of options in the home search, or sort of?
We weren't your last choice, were we?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, to be honest, I didn't know much. So originally we were hoping to stay kind of in like the Cleveland, Clarksville, Sawtee area. And honestly, just because I think, everyone is talking about this exodus from Atlanta, and everyone wants to get out of the craziness and the metro areas. And it's just, you drive down there and you're like, ew, this is why I don't live here,
Yeah.
So we were hoping to kind of stay there so that we were close to the venue. Things were really pricey for what they were. And just the market of what was available wasn't great. So when we expanded our search, to be honest with you, there was like really nothing appealing about Maysville, because there was like, okay, so there's no grocery store. At that time, there were no restaurants or places to eat. There's a great park, a beautiful park, but, we're at our age, we don't really like slide, or, we walk our dogs and stuff. And I'm like, we probably won't use that a whole lot until right now. But the house was really affordable. We loved the house and loved what honestly really drew us to it was thinking, okay, this is an up and coming place with the growth that's happening outside of Atlanta, with the growth that's happening in North Georgia, given the location being off of 85 and close to, you've got the outlets and commerce, and Jefferson is great. And they're all developing, I think, really well. You don't see a whole lot of commercial development in the smaller towns. I think they're doing a good job. The infrastructure they have in place is doing a good job of balancing that with the local mom and pop stuff.
Right.
And so, to be honest, when we drove through downtown, we're like, okay, there's nothing here now, but we think that at some point there might be like a Christmas tree farm here in December, or there might be a little cafe here. And the guy we bought our house from actually was like, no, probably not, because they've tried. Like, there's been a few restaurants, and you'll have them for a little bit, and they'll come and go. And so we've managed to hang on to our Mexican place.
Yes.
For a couple months, and we've got the barbecue place down there now too, and some recent exciting changes of being able to introduce beer and wine sales, I think, hopefully will attract some other, what do you call them, restaurateurs, maybe some little wine shop people. And hopefully, I'm really feeling hopeful that is the step towards the appropriate kind of growth while we can still control it. Because I think, there's going to come a point where we're so dilapidated, we're so broke for funds and revenue, and nobody wants to live here because, well, I know there's a group of people that say they enjoy not having those things, but at some point, you're either going to drive 35 minutes to when you do need to go to the grocery store or whatever. But I think we're right on that dividing line of being able to control growth in a positive way that, the kind of growth we want to see.
Yes.
Before it's too late and we're just bought out by commercial businesses.
So I guess the answer to what you'd like to see in Maysville is business, but controlled.
I think controlled local growth. I think, of course there is a need, you have to have grocery stores. There has to be somewhat of corporate growth, but it doesn't have to be on the main street or in your historic areas. If you set up your infrastructure and you do it the right way, and there's so many, we've lived in small towns for, I'm so old, a really long time in all of my vast experience. But the town we lived in Texas was kind of the same way, and they were putting in place tax incentives for small businesses, and then on the reverse side, not small business. This is my great pregnancy brain. The not small ones,
right?
The big ones, the corporate businesses and stuff. Had heftier application fees and business license fees and tax fees, but they gave those local entrepreneurs greater incentives to open up their business in the town. And maybe it's rent breaks, maybe it's your utility rates to help you get started. We're offering this introductory package just to help people get on their feet and get established here. And so there's so many things that you can do to incentivize people. I mean, who wouldn't want to be able to walk their kids downtown and grab ice cream in the summer? And so I hope other people, at least like a few other people, feel that same way. And because we have some beautiful historic buildings down here, that same thing, they're kind of right. We're kind of approaching that, like, do we get rid of them, or, can we save them while we can? And if you lose them, once they're gone, they're lost. Once they're lost, you're looking at new construction. You're looking at, which is fine. I mean, that can be done beautifully and tastefully too. But one of the things I hear from both sides is how much people love the rich history of our town and what that means to so many, and why not preserve it? I mean, there are so many really cool things down here, and there's a lot of stories people don't know about because the information just isn't out there.
Yes.
There's not a whole lot of resources for people to learn about Maysville, and I think given kind of what is out there, we're not taken seriously enough for people to want to care. Given our location, we're close to so many colleges and so many historical societies, and so many, Georgia, I think, has a great, there are so many historic towns that are well preserved. We should be learning from these other towns and asking them, what have you done and how can we do this without breaking the bank? Let's say we have no budget to do these things. What would our options look like? Because there are people out there that would do it just because that's what they love to do. And to your point, there's tons of money out there. There's tons of grants. It just takes someone who cares enough to, instead of watching The Voice for 30 minutes, fill out this application. And that was honestly one of the reasons that I approached you about our website and our social media, because that's, if you don't know anything else about this town and you Google it and you go online and that's the first thing you see, it's like, oh.
Yeah, don't want to be part of that.
They don't even have the time to update this or add a picture that has been taken in the last 15 years, or there's no directory of businesses. Probably because we have 4, but there's just little steps. I guess it's similar to how they say dress for the job you want, or take care of yourself so you can take care of others. When you're on an airplane and you're crashing and they tell you, put your own oxygen on before you assist others. And I think that's what Maysville needs to do in a way is, they've got to take care of themselves so that they can take care of their citizens, so that we can grow and hopefully inspire other small towns that are kind of in the same position we are, that, hey, look, this can be done. You just have to find the right people and put the right resources to work, and you can't ignore these problems because they won't go away. They'll get worse. And then at that point, it's out of your control, and it's going to be in the hands of someone who you don't want to have to be at the mercy of.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what like if you had that magic wand we like to talk about so much, and you could wave it, what would be one thing you'd really love to see in Maysville? Like if you were queen.
Oh, if I were queen. Oh gosh. Well, I think the first thing, just because I live on the main road, selfishly, would be, sidewalks going downtown. I know there's a lot of people, the speed limit is 35 through town, and of course.
Really?
Yeah, of course.
I thought it was 80.
Yeah, you would think. No one goes 35, which, okay, that's a whole nother problem. But until you can address that, or we can figure out how to better control and regulate that, giving people a safe way to get downtown, because there is very limited to no parking. But I guess, if you're going to walk down there, you want to have some place to walk to. So to be honest, if money was no object and I could do anything, my dream, and I have dreamt of this since we bought our house, is I would love for that main strip, where like kind of the building where the Mexican restaurant and the barbecue places, like fill that up and make that someplace that like people have a variety of things, enough things that you see people in and out of there all the time, and just to have a way to get down there safely, and I think seeing some initiative towards tapping into the potential we have to increase the revenue we're bringing in to generate the positive kind of growth and improvements we need in our city, like just being in events and having a venue and figuring out, we're faced a lot of times with, okay, we have no weddings in December. How do we make money? Do we rent out our land to a Christmas tree farmer and sell Christmas trees? Do we find a pumpkin patch farmer and do that kind of thing in the fall? Do we, I know the farmer's market has been great. But it's like things, there are so many resources we have in place that are just not being taken advantage of. And when there's so many people, I don't know what the DOT report is on, the traffic on this road, but if it's 20,000 cars a day, I bet it's probably 65,000 if I had to guess. That's 65,000 impressions and 65,000 opportunities of people driving through this town to say, man, this is cute. I want to stop here. And I bet that barbecue place is really good. And oh my God, wouldn't it be so fun to live here? Because look at all these people enjoying their downtown. Instead, I think 65,000 people fly through here at 80 miles an hour and think, oh, that was a town? Oh, I don't think I've ever been to Maysville. And you're like, no, you pass through it twice a day, as a matter of fact. But I don't know. That's a lot of waves of my wand. But
I think it's doable. I think it's doable. I think it's a wonderful vision. A wonderful vision.
We've talked to several people that say they wish we had some sort of small local grocery store.
I have wanted so bad to open this little market and call it the Maysville Mercantile. Yes. And I wanted to have, I wanted to do as much local, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but I want to try to use big words, like procurement. Is that what it, like I want to procure, like, local eggs and produce and have it be really seasonal and have some awesome prepared things, like, broccoli slaws and marinated kebabs and, little like take home things. And so like one section of my Maysville Mercantile would be like quick grocery, not something you would probably still have to make your trip to Ingles or Publix or wherever you go, but enough to where you're like, oh, we need something to throw on the grill tonight, or we're having people over and they have this awesome Vidalia onion dip. Let's go grab it. But I would want like my little section, and I would do as much as I could. I wouldn't order from big. Well, I've never actually owned a mercantile store before, so I don't know if you have to. But I would do the best I could, to support, source local meats and things like that. but I guess I'd probably have to figure out my food safety regulations. And then I would find, there would be like candles and like some home goods and but just like a true old-fashioned general store kind of a thing.
Like
just
a
like
five
a
and
quick
dime.
little stop. Yeah. But nice, but really nice. And then out in front, I would have my little 2-top bistro tables, and I would have my little carts that would have stems where you could like gather and pick your own bouquet. And so
She's been thinking
Yes,
about
she
this.
has.
yes, I already know what color the front of my building would be and my shutters, and I would have the little black and white striped awnings. Like it would be kind of like, when you go, I've actually never been to Paris, but when you see pictures of like the little markets.
Right.
And you walk
Right.
down and you're like, oh my God, you can smell the bread, the fresh baked bread and stuff. And like, that's kind of what I picture in my
Yeah.
head. I just picture this little local market where you can walk down the sidewalk with your cart and grab all your stuff that you need for that day and get your fresh flowers. And
I love it.
Maysville Mercantile coming soon.
Okay, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, I'm
Walk down
working on it.
the street with your loaf of fresh French bread, just fresh out of the oven.
Yeah, still warm.
All your lottery scratchers win
Yes.
you something.
You win sidewalks in front of your house.
Yes, you win the opportunity to shop in my store and spend money. No, that would be my dream if I could figure out how to get. I don't know how much it would cost, but
We need to start working on that.
yeah. And now I could have little like wine and cheese things. There's, have you ever been to Chicago? Mm-hmm. Have you ever heard of Italy?
No.
Okay, well, it's humongous. So this would be like a much more toned down version of that. But Italy is, if you've never been, I think they have like multiple ones in all different cities, but I've been to the one in Chicago. And it's a few stories, and they sell produce and everything we were talking about. And then in a section of the store, it's like a little restaurant. So you can buy your bottle of wine and your cheeses and stuff and then sit down and like they'll cook it for you.
Oh, that's
Oh,
cool.
that is
You can
neat.
order. So like they have a little pasta bar where you can buy fresh pasta and take it home, or you can order lunch there and eat there. And that's kind of like, I picture this gathering place, of people like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just, someday.
Like you walk in the door and all the old fellas of town are just sitting there talking.
Yeah, you would
Yeah.
have to have on your little 2-tops outside, you would have to have like some checkers
Yeah.
out there, that's kind of what I picture. And I don't know, like old glass bottled sodas for like truly like 10 cents or something fun for
Yeah.
the kids where they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I really want to go back.
Something on a bigger level, like Betty's
Betty's?
Country Store, and they do have a little area where you can get sandwiches, and they have biscuits in the morning. They have a butcher.
Yes.
They have great wine for sale, local cheeses, crackers, bread.
That's my vision.
Yes, but I can see it being like that, but maybe a little bit better.
Yeah. Oh, well, of
Yeah.
course, because it would be in Maysville.
It'll
Yeah.
be yours.
And it would, yeah. I mean, hello. No, I'm just kidding.
There's kind of that place in Homer similar to that. They have the great sandwiches at lunch.
That's true.
Yeah. have you
Dave
been
and
there?
Katie's.
Oh, the Amish store.
Yes.
Yeah, like so you have your rotating menu, like you wouldn't have, because it's not truly a restaurant, and I wouldn't want to. My thing is, I wouldn't want to take away from the restaurants we have. I think they have fought so hard to be here, and I wouldn't want to in any way compete with that. But yeah, like to come grab a biscuit on your way in, or we're doing pimento sandwiches today because it's the Masters or something,
Right.
just like little fun things on your way to the park. Oh my God, you could sell prepackaged picnics. Mm-hmm. That would be fun.
And you could walk on the sidewalk all the way to the park.
Yes, and you could safely get there without getting,
Having to jump in a ditch.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
I love our vision of Maysville.
And then and then at Christmas time,
Okay.
I'm dying. I have been researching so hard. If you're out there and you sell Christmas trees and you are looking for a place to rent to sell your trees, I think downtown I will pull that traffic report.
Yes.
Because really there's a lot of cars that come through here because we're right between 985 and 85. And you have to go through us if you're going from this big town to this big town. But I think down there, oh my gosh, the string lights are already in place. I think it would be so cute to have the little Christmas tree farm. We could have hot cocoa bars, and Santa could come.
Movies in the park.
Oh my God, we could have this little table where kids can make their own bags of reindeer food. Haven't you seen?
Yes, I love the
you
reindeer
do like
food.
not sprinkles. What do you, sparkles
Glitter.
and oats. Although
yeah.
I think now you're not supposed to do sparkles because of the
Bad for the
wildlife.
environment, yeah.
But birdseed or something. So we can do something safe and healthy. But oh yeah, it's just one of these years.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back here and be like, we did it.
Yay.
We have our pumpkin patch.
But meanwhile, you're doing it up at your venue.
Yeah.
Which your venue, I went up there for a bluegrass event.
Yes.
And the
our concert.
view is absolutely breathtaking.
It is.
I mean,
Thank
it's
you.
just breathtaking.
I am biased, but it is absolutely stunning. It is. There's not a place like it, honestly. It's it's private. We're not open to the public. So when you're there for an event, it's truly just yours.
Yeah.
But it's so quiet. I mean, it's like, it's called Sanctuary Estate. And honestly, in my very biased opinion, it is truly a sanctuary. I mean, you pull in and it's just rolling hills, and you've got the horses and the water and the gardens. And it's not a bad place to work.
No, it's beautiful. The event I went to, we took our chairs and we just sat there, and it was the first time I'd ever met you.
Yeah.
And
yes.
and we're sitting there watching. And I said, "That girl is so nice." I mean, and I watched.
She did. She came home and called me. She said, "No, I'm telling you, she's the nicest person I've ever met."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, there was not. And it was crowded that day. There was not one person in the whole event that she didn't speak to at least twice. I mean, no, it was true. You came up just like 3 or 4 times. Do you need anything? Would you like something to drink? Can I get you anything? I mean, and she didn't know me.
She knows how to. She's an
It was
event
everybody.
planner.
I mean, everybody, and your staff, right down to the little girl that was telling us where to park. I thought, well, she's happy.
Oh my Haley.
I mean, she was happy.
Yeah.
And she was sweating, but she was happy. She was.
Well, that's all. I've got an Italian mama, so we.
Okay, that explains a lot.
Before we were ever in the hospitality industry, Christmases are that way, and honestly, just like Friday nights are that way, at our house. And so, learned from the best from her.
Well, she did a good job.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I love her.
I was at the event barn. Is that what
The
you
lodge.
call it? The lodge.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, it was beautiful from the outside, but you go in, it's like being transformed into a whole different world. I mean, it's beautiful from the outside, but you're like, and you're looking up at the ceilings and
The chandeliers.
yes,
Oh.
and the second you walk in, it's like, oh, this is gorgeous, and all of a sudden your eye catches, you're like, oh, well, look up here.
There's more. Yeah, we did. So we're the second owners of the property. And the original owners, they bred horses, and that was their family home. They raised their kids there, which I cannot imagine what that childhood was like. But she had converted it into an event space when she started hosting weddings on property, and it was great. But when we bought it, we're like, man, this could be refined a little bit more. And so we came in and did a pretty big renovation and upgrade of the lodge space specifically. It added those, we've got 2 8.5-foot crystal chandeliers, which are stunning. They were also a very labor of love installation, because each little crystal had to be hung on its own, and you had to hang the electricians were up on their thing. They had to hang this side and then this side to keep it balanced. But it was worth it, because those are really a great focal point in there. And added a bunch of stacked stone walls and added the patios on. And one thing, in that area, especially with the wedding venues, at the time, a lot of people were doing the whole modern farmhouse, barn kind of thing. And we really wanted to be opposite of that and play on our location being in the mountains and do rustic in a way that wasn't farmhouse, but that was very... kind of modeling things after aesthetically the old Edwards Inn. I don't know if you've been up in North Carolina, but kind of keeping that mountain lodge, but sophisticated and elegant and bridal enough,
Right.
that they're gonna they're going to be like, okay, this
And
is
how
pretty.
long did the renovations take y'all?
That could have been like the coolest HGTV reality show ever, because it was wild. It was supposed to take, I think, like 9 weeks or something. And of course it never does. And so we would have to, like, Monday through Thursday, construction would come in and all of these things would get done. And then like Thursday night and then like all day Friday, we would have to get it to a place where we could host a wedding that weekend.
Oh.
And then we would host an event and then Monday morning get right back to work on the renovation. So it ended up being almost a year.
Wow.
Almost a year. And we had weddings all throughout. And my sister got married there. She was the first wedding in the completed space. And the morning of her wedding, my dad was out there like grouting stone, like finishing the thing. And I remember at her reception, she, you know, kind of really knew none of it because we didn't want to stress her out. But we're like at cocktail hour, and I looked at my parents and I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be the best sleep of our lives. Like, we worked so hard to get to this point, and we're here. And but it was so super fun. So our very first wedding in our new space, we were all guests. So that was a really cool experience.
Nice.
And it hosted a very fun party. We all had a great time. So.
Yeah.
Italians always do.
Yeah, well, you know.
I went to an Italian funeral recently, and I was surprised at how much fun they had.
Yeah. She was, you were telling me about that.
I mean, the wake started at 5 o'clock and didn't end till 1 in the morning.
They must have been a great yeah, well, you know, you've got to celebrate life, and it's all about being together and good food. And I think like the Europeans specifically do life so well. You know, it's you know, you should have your retirement fund and all of those things, but stop killing yourself to work until 9 o'clock at night. And you only have people so long, and your family is. There's nothing more important. As a very hormonal pregnant about to give birth, there's nothing more important than your family. And I think by the time you realize that and you start acting on that, it's unfortunately a lot of times too late. And that's, I think, why I love my job and what I do, is because you see people in those moments all the time. Like, they truly pause life. You know, everything else stands still, and they make these travel arrangements, and it's not about spending money, but they spend all this money and to celebrate and to like just live big for one day and celebrate love and coming together and all of this. And I think that's one of the coolest things to get to be a part of.
Happiness every day.
Yeah.
There's not many jobs where you can go in every day and it's just happy, happy, happy.
Even Disney World, can you imagine, like, those characters, as soon as they go behind the door and take off their mask, they're probably like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I've been smiling for so long. But
well, we're so tickled. We'd like to tell everybody how they can reach you if they're interested in hosting a wedding at your place. If
you would like more information, visit us at www.sanctuaryestate.com. Or find us on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok.
Well, we're so tickled that you're here in Maysville, that you're helping us the way you are. It's definitely a labor of love.
And it's so appreciated. So appreciated.
We're glad to be here and to get to be a part of it. So
we're excited to meet the new little one.
No, we can't wait.
Me too.
Not that he's going to be spoiled.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, very. He's the first grandkid on both sides. So we've got multiple nurseries and multiple homes. And I don't think I'll have to buy clothes until he's in like 5T. And I've got stuff all the way through. So we are get your drum set prepped and moved.
Absolutely.
A lot of people waiting to meet this little guy.
And his name is?
James.
James.
Hi, James. Yes.
Yeah. Sweet baby James.
Sweet baby James. For his grandpa, my dad.
Perfect.
So, his little Jimmy. Yeah. He had 3 girls, so he deserves.
Yeah, he deserves a boy.
That's true.
We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And y'all, hopefully on our next episode of Blind Squirrel Talks, it'll be Lulu, Kim, Alex, and baby James.
Yes.
Yes.
And wine.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I'm all about that.
Or margaritas.
right. Well, we appreciate y'all being here. Can't wait to see y'all on the next episode of Blind Squirrel Talk. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.